Board meeting is now called to order. Board members, all members are present and therefore we have a quorum. Okay, board members, are we ready? Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Okay. And please, if you're not speaking, please mute your line. Thank you. All right, all board members are present and therefore we have a quorum. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. We've all had an opportunity to review the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Luckett has moved and who seconded? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Hairston?
Dr. Harrison has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Next on the agenda, board members, is the approving of the minutes. We've had an opportunity to review the minutes in advance. Is there a motion to approve the October 6th and October 20th minutes as presented?
So moved.
Dr. Luckett has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Figurs has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. And just that quickly, we've gotten to the superintendent's report. Dr. Green.
Thank you, President Johnson. We'll begin with the video presentation of the latest district news and important updates from our instructional television video or production team. Also, board members, we're excited to share as a part of this, as a part of the video highlights tonight. We're excited to share the selection of our Power APAC school community for its new name. And so with your approval, we will present this item officially at our next board meeting, but that will be included in the highlights reel. Just want to make sure you know what you're seeing there.
After accepting over 100 different namesakes, the committee to rename Power APAC Elementary selected Ida B. Wells. Wells was selected from among two other finalists, Richard Wright and Margaret Walker Alexander, as the new namesake for Power APAC Elementary School. The journalist and advocate for justice for African Americans was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi in 1862 and died in 1931. Students participated in the selection by engaging in a school-based virtual election. The new name must now be approved by the JPS Board of Trustees. The Lanier High School National Alumni Association has made a generous donation of $10,000 to Lanier High School. The funds will be used for supplies, materials, and extracurricular activities. With this donation, the organization's funding to Lanier has topped more than $100,000. For their ongoing partnership, the Alumni Association and Lanier High School were recognized with the 2019 Governor's Award for Partnership Excellence. Jackson Public School teachers received many grants totaling more than $100,000. The generous donation was made possible through a partnership between the Community Foundation of Mississippi's Education Foundation Trust Fund and the Junior League of Jackson. The Junior League of Jackson's Public School Mini Grant Project funds teachers in grades K through 12. The grant amounts range from $1,000 to $10,000 each. Together, these organizations have provided more than $1 million in grant funding through the program. JPS teacher Dr. Vishelle Lewis was recently recognized by NASA as the featured Meet an Expert Educator in the Space Station's Globe Learning Program. The program is an international science and education program that provides students and the public with the opportunity to participate in data collection and the scientific process. Dr. Lewis is an intervention specialist at McWillie Elementary School. Deion Jones-Woody, Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Schools, has been selected by Jackson State University to serve on the College of Health Sciences COVID-19 Mitigation Community Advisory Board. The board was established with funding from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Foundation to create COVID-19 mitigation strategies to reduce the number of cases among African American communities. JPS Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Schools, Dr. Kathleen Grigsby, has been appointed to the University of Mississippi School of Education Board of Advisors. The purpose of the board is to engage alumni, friends, and supporters in furthering the vision and mission of the University School of Education. Board members are appointed for 3-year terms. Ask for More Jackson, with support from the Community Foundation of Mississippi, have recognized 8 JPS teachers as outstanding educators for 2020. To show their appreciation, all winners will receive monetary gifts. Teachers can use the funds for professional or personal purposes. The generous donation was made possible by an anonymous donor. The outstanding educators are Jared Benson, a 5th grade teacher at Walton Elementary School, Latarius Hicks Lilly, a 4th grade math and science teacher at Lester Elementary, Sherian Hines, a 1st grade teacher at Dawson Elementary School, Justin Jackson, a 2nd grade teacher at North Jackson Elementary, Angela Jones, an exceptional education teacher at Lanier High School, Carmen Oswalt, a 4th grade math teacher at Span Elementary, Nikita Still, a 2nd grade teacher at Key Elementary School, and Katie Ann Upchurch, a 1st grade teacher at Pecan Park Elementary. The Jackson Public School District played a considerable role in the November 3rd general election. JPS provided 27 voting locations for Jackson voters. The district is proud to have shared in assisting Jacksonians in carrying out their patriotic and civic duties. For more information about Jackson Public Schools, please visit our website. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Comcast channels 18 and 19.
As always, we want to just thank the team for developing that highlights reel. It's always exciting to see those stories come to life in that way. And I believe that one of the teachers highlighted was the sister of our board chair. So excited to see all that excellence flowing through the family and pouring out over Jackson Public Schools. One clarification, we are excited about Ida B. Wells as the name that was selected for renaming Power APAC. But just to clarify, the scholars actually voted and selected Ida B. Wells, and the committee approved and accepted that name by the scholars. So it's again excited just to see that our scholars are making decisions to kind of guide their destiny. And we will be excited to bring the name before you board members at the next board meeting. Our amazing assistant superintendent for high schools, Lakeisha Marshall Thomas, collaborated over the last several weeks with the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable to sponsor a pretty exciting voter registration campaign titled Know Your Power. The campaign was designed to educate and encourage young Black voters. Each of our JPS high schools participated in the voter registration challenge, and to celebrate their efforts, a drive-in musical concert and rally was held this past Friday, October the 30th. And I was actually out there for a little bit with the youngins and got to celebrate and spend a little bit of time with them. Awards were also presented during that event to the winners of the voter registration challenge, and the winning schools were as follows. Provine High School won 3rd place and a cash prize of $1,000. Callaway High School won 2nd place and a cash prize of $2,500, plus another $2,500 for their social media efforts. And then Lanier High School won the 1st place prize of $5,000 in cash prize. As you can tell, this generation of new voters is excited and enthusiastic about their civic participation, and they're eager to make their voices heard. Want to thank you again to the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable, to Voice, to Mrs. Marshall Thomas, and the entire high school teams, all of our scholars, for their hard work in coming together and making this really important issue also a great opportunity for celebrating. Board members, Tech Jackson 2020 is right around the corner. This year, Tech Jackson will be a virtual conference and festival highlighting innovation within Jackson's four greatest economic sectors: technology, education, creativity, and healthcare. The conference will be held November the 9th through the 12th, and the theme for this year's Tech Jackson is community resiliency, focusing on the impact of COVID-19 and activism. Each day we'll have one pre and one post event for the conference, and they'll be pre-recorded and uploaded in addition to 2 90-minute live sessions for that day's events. Tech Jackson is designed to help scholars to gain new knowledge through innovation and collaboration with experts that work in the field of technology. Tech Jackson 2020 will feature live panels, workshops, recorded interviews, a post-secondary fair, and a musical festival. So to learn more about Tech Jackson, the conference, and to register, please visit www.techjackson, JACKSON, techjacksonms.com. Please go there to register or to learn more about Tech Jackson. Thank you, President Johnson. That concludes my remarks for this evening. Board members, appreciate your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Do we have anyone for public comment? No participants for public comment?
No, ma'am.
All right, we will move on to information action items. Ms. Robinson.
Excuse me, President Johnson, it's information only.
Information only, items only.
Good evening, Board President Johnson, board members, and Dr. Green. I'm going to see if I think Mr. Johnson's going to share his screen and pull up the bond update for this month. At the board's request, the bond team provides a project status update at the first board meeting of each month. The bond team is excited to present this month's report. Ms. Franklin, Interim Construction Director, and I will co-present this evening. Ms. Franklin will lead off the presentation by providing an update on the phase 1 and 2 construction updates. I will follow with the update on the bond financial report, and then we will close out the presentation with a special 3D rendering of the new front entry design at Lanier High School. Ms. Franklin, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, board members. We'll start off at one of our elementary schools, at Green Elementary School. We saw last month where the carpet had been removed in the hallways and classrooms. We're continuing to make progress there. This is in the restrooms. The restrooms there will receive all new carriers, new fixtures, new flooring, toilet partitions, and new accessories. Also at Green Elementary School, we have some exterior improvements with the sidewalks. The sidewalks have been taken up and replaced. At our next school, Capital City Alternative School, we have the site drainage and foundation repair in progress. We've repaired several catch basins and the drainage throughout the site, and also lifted the foundation. The next slide shows some additional photos of where we repaired additional catch basins and repaired the drainage along the west elevation and throughout the site there. At Career Development Center, we have 2 projects in progress. This first one is the restroom renovations. On the left, you can see the previous condition of the restrooms. They were receiving all new wall carriers for the new plumbing fixtures and sinks. We have new lighting in the restrooms, new partitions, flooring, and accessories. Let's move to the next photo. We see here some more before pictures in our restrooms. And that second project at Career Development Center is the exterior door replacement. We'll see those. Yeah, here we are. You see the condition of the doors there on the left, and we've changed out those doors to new doors like the ones you see on the right. At our next high school, Forest Hill High School, we're continuing to make progress there. We talked about at our last meeting, we've received new LED lighting in the corridors. We've taken up the old carpet out of the classrooms and hallways. We're continuing to do general improvements. The stairs there have received new treads. We're also in progress with our restroom renovations there. The restrooms there are being upgraded with new tile, new fixtures, and partitions and new lighting. At Callaway High School, you saw last month where the wood had been installed in the gyms. Now the floors have been stained, the new logo and striping put down, and the contractor's actually in process of installing our new bleachers. Now we'll move to some of our phase 2 projects. These next 3 projects are smaller projects that we've done under $50,000. You can see here at Key Elementary School, we've had some exterior upgrades. This sign was actually donated by one of our contractors. You can see on the left, we have that deteriorated sign, and on the right, we have our new sign. At Lee Elementary School, we've started work at that school with some facade improvements, and that included just pressure washing and painting some of the exterior doors and window frames. At Marshall Elementary School, we've started there also with some site and facade improvement, and that included pressure washing the school, painting some window frames, exterior doors, and also cleaning up some of our paths, some of our walking paths where brush or limb was kind of overtaking the fence line or kind of in the way. We've cleaned some of that back. And these projects are just a precursor to the larger projects that are going to start at these 3 elementary schools for phase 2. And some of the other projects that we've started, we've had kickoff meetings for since our last meeting. All right, Capital City Alternative Schools, we've also started our restroom renovations there. Our library and academy space upgrades have started. That project will start off at Forest Hill with the library being renovated. The restroom renovations have started at Murrah High School. At Provine, we've started our kitchen plumbing repair, where that kitchen will receive all new plumbing, new grease interceptor, and some sewer repairs in the courtyard. At Wingfield High School, we've started 2 projects, the exterior door replacement and structural and concrete repairs. So we can look forward to some photos in our next meeting of those projects, but these are some projects that just recently got started. And now Ms. Robinson will give you the financial update.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. I'm sure the board is excited to see those pictures and the progress that we've made since the last meeting. This slide gives just a brief recap of the bond financial update. It shows where we originally sold the $65 million for the bond as the referendum passed. And at the time the bond sold at a premium, we had received an additional $5 million. The cost of the bond issuance was $346,250. That cost was deducted prior to receiving the funds. So we netted $70 million allocated project budget back in 2018. So we're going to start the budget there. Our next slide gives a overview of the report that you'll start receiving each month. Next slide. Okay, so this is the monthly report that you'll start receiving. I'm sorry, go back one, Mr. Johnson. Okay, so on this slide, so each month you'll be giving a report showing the breakdown by school, showing their allocated budget, the expenditures that's been spent at each school, the encumbered amount, and the budget balance. So that goes to the top part of the form. So column A gives the budget, column B gives the expenditures, the C, the encumbered amounts, and D, the remaining budget balance. Each school of the high schools, their budget also includes the library renovations and the science labs. For the middle schools, the cost of their middle school science lab renovations have also been added to the budget. So this amount in the column A may be a little bit different from the bond fact sheet, only because we went ahead and added the additional projects that have been identified at those schools. I highlighted CDC on the slide in red. We can go back one more. Okay, so CDC, I'm just going to read through it. So the original allocated budget for CDC was $500,000. To date, as of October 27th, we've expended $371,707.34 at CDC. So you saw all those restrooms and those exterior doors. Those are the projects that we've done there at CDC. Right now, we have an encumbered amount of $99,842.66, and we have an available budget balance of $28,450. So we're going to see, based on that original bond fact sheet, the identified projects for that school, what else can be done that we haven't done. So making sure we're maximizing the money at each school. Now you can go to the next slide, Mr. Johnson. Okay, so this just gives the next list of schools from Kirksey to Sykes. And then the next slide finishes the schools. One more slide. Okay, and it gives Timberline through Wingfield, and also gives the allocations for the athletic fields. Next slide. Okay, so this is a pie chart. So it gives a visual of what has actually been expended and what has been encumbered. So we are going to give you this report as a separate attachment. I know in the PowerPoint, this graph is a little unclear right now, but if you total the amount expended and the amount encumbered, we're right at about 40% expended. The unencumbered amount is about 60%. And what hasn't been encumbered right now are those lists of projects that Ms. Franklin mentioned that just had those kickoff meetings, the restroom renovations at Murrah, was it Murrah? I'm sorry. And then those projects at Wingfield. So that is going to come out of that encumbered. So we're going to really start seeing that unencumbered amount diminish as we accelerate and get more projects out to bid. So that concludes the financial report. I know we're excited to show what the new front entrance at Lanier High School is going to look like. One thing about Lanier, it is an archives and it's a historic building. So we're limited sometimes about what things we can do, and it takes some extra review by archives and history before we get approval. So I know some members in the community were concerned about the lack of progress or the lag at Lanier, but we just want to show the public now with this 3D rendering the excitement of what is about to happen at Lanier. So Mr. Johnson, you can play the animation.
Actually, Dr. Cormack has that animation. He's queuing it up as we speak.
Okay, thank you. I can see one smile on one board member's face, so I'm glad I made Mr. Figures happy. If there are any other questions, board members, at this time.
That was an absolutely wonderful presentation. Thank you, Ms. Robinson and Ms. Franklin. Board members, are there any questions or comments?
I would just like to echo your comment, Madam President. And of course, you know, Sandra is a graduate of Lanier, so I'm sure she will be working very hard, but that's exciting. And I know the alumni chapter will be very proud of that rendering.
Dr. Sivak? You're good? Okay. Any other comments, board members? All right, we will move on to the next item. Ms. Marshall Thomas.
Good evening, President Johnson, board members, Dr. Green. The administration is presenting for information the contract between Major Clarity and the Jackson Public School District for the purpose of providing a college and career readiness platform for students in grades 6 through 12 to manage the process of identifying and pursuing their post-secondary plans, including their academic pathway through high school. Major Clarity provides a comprehensive college and career-ready tool that allows schools and students in grades 6 through 12 to authentically explore career pathways, manage, track, and monitor the students' state-mandated individual success plans, and provide real-time insight and tracking into students' progress toward their chosen pathways, including diploma endorsements and career and work plans. And to evaluate the effectiveness of the implementation, the district will analyze and evaluate the students' and staff's engagement with the tool, and engagement shall include, but it's not limited to, the percentage of students and staff that log into the tool, upload, manage, and monitor the state's required ISPs, complete academic career planning and exploration activities, complete post-secondary applications, utilize the many features of the tool, including post-secondary searches, college comparison tools, the scholarship database, work opportunities, requests for letters of recommendations, receipts and responses of targeted messages from the counselors and the administrators with the students, online surveys, transcript requests, and resume development. Additionally, the district will track post-secondary data to include college enrollment, college persistence and retention, career and job placement and obtainment data, and also military service enrollment data through the National Student Clearinghouse, our military service partnerships, and our post-secondary high school planning and tracking. Major Clarity is currently providing services in Rankin County, Hinds County, and DeSoto County school districts. This concludes my presentation, and I'll take any questions you may have at this time.
Action items, Ms. Miller.
Great afternoon. Thank you, Ms. Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Green. I present to you the first item for information action tonight is the approval of the resolution authorizing the issuance of the tax and revenue anticipation note, which we call the TAN, in the amount of $20 million. As you know, board members, this is one of our regular financial processes that will actually give the district cash flow until our major revenue sources come in from taxes in January through March. This year, we offered this publicly to all the local banks. We received one response this year. We're really excited about the interest rate that Trustmark provided to us, a 0.94% interest rate compared to last year's 1.99% interest rate. If we were to pay this back at the same time frame as it's indicated to actually be due on April the 1st, we would actually save, compared to last year, about $83,000 in interest payments. So we normally pay this back early because for the last several years, we've been able to enjoy very aggressive Avalon collections. But if we were to, even if we were to hold it out to April 1st, we would actually save about $83,000 compared to the amount that we paid on last year. So this is being presented for your information and for action items tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Board members, are there any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve information action item A?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Dr. Sivak has moved and Dr. Harrison has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Thank you, Ms. Miller, and the next item is also yours.
The next item, yes, thank you, Ms. Johnson. The next item is also a license agreement between Jackson Public Schools and Entergy Mississippi to continue to provide access onto the premises at Lake Hyco so that Entergy can start their remediation of the property. As you all are fully aware, Entergy declined to continue their lease of the 16th section of property known as Lake Hyco. This license, I keep calling it a leasing agreement. The licensing agreement actually will give them access to continue going onto the premises for the next year, and so that they can start the remediation process. We've been in contact with our attorneys, have remained in consistent contact with the attorneys at Entergy, and they are developing their final remediation plan and will submit that to MDEQ. Again, that will be submitted as well to the school board, because at that point we will have to approve. We will bring forth for you to approve a memorandum of agreement for them to continue the remediation process. We were advised on yesterday that Monday, Entergy will start the catch and release of the fish that are at Lake Hyco. So the process is ongoing. They are working with MDEQ to make sure that everything is done safely and as environmentally friendly as possible, making sure that, of course, the animals are not harmed as much as they possibly can. But this license agreement does give Entergy the access on the premises for another year. And then after that time, there's a possibility, if they're not complete, that there is a rental fee of $900, I believe, that they would pay to us. But we will certainly keep the board informed as to the progress of Entergy and the remediation of the property.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Board members, are there any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Miller, I do have some questions, and I'm sorry that I didn't post them to you in advance of tonight's meeting. But in order to help my understanding and make me feel a little bit better about the process, there are four. How long will this take approximately? That's one. Would the lake be able to be refilled? That's two. Would the sludge in the lake be removed? That's three. And how will the board be informed and updated, and how often on the process of the remediation?
Okay, so I will take them in order if you're okay with that. Entergy it's estimating that it will take approximately a year to get this remediation process completed. That is from the point that MDEQ actually approves their remediation plan. And the remediation plan has to include how the dam will be breached, if it's going to be breached, how that water will be released safely so that it will not damage property or any other city and have any other negative effects on city residents. It will also have details on how that sludge will be tested and removed if necessary, Mr. Figures. And so once that is approved, then Entergy will start that process, and they're anticipating a year from that point. They have, it's my understanding through our attorneys that they have given some preliminary reports or some preliminary figures, timeframes to MDEQ, but MDEQ has not approved that yet. I have asked that our attorneys continue maintaining their constant contact with the attorneys with Entergy. Once that remediation plan has been approved by MDEQ, we will bring that plan back to this board so that we can have that review as well as agree to the terms to make sure that they're meeting the terms of our lease agreement, to make sure that the property is remediated back to the district in the manner that it's supposed to be, and that it meets all the requirements of the lease agreement. And then certainly I will be happy that Mr. Albright and I will work with through our attorneys through Entergy to at least get quarterly updates on how that process is going, and then we can bring those to the board on a quarterly basis for information, if that's agreeable, if that's okay.
You're on mute, Mr. Vickers.
Oh, this is a B, A to one of the questions. The $900 a day, when does that start?
Hold on 1 second, let me pull it up. It actually begins at the end of this license agreement, which terminates on October 31st of 2021. At that point, then those fees would kick in, unless it would be $900 a day if we have told them, if the district has said they needed to vacate the property and they have chosen not to. But well before that time, we would have some idea of where they are on the process, so that then we can know that if we have to start enacting the $900 a day, or if they will be able to vacate by October 31st of 21. And I think I didn't answer your second question about would it be refilled. Certainly the new, if there's a new tenant, or if the district determines that the water property is what we would like to do, that can be managed within that land. We would have to do whatever is necessary as far as how to get that water there. We can reduce the footprint. It doesn't have to be as large of a body of water. Certainly it's going to be able to be refilled at the direction of either the district or a potential lessee.
That was actually one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we answered. The requirement is simply that they breach it, and so not that they totally remove the dam. And so obviously it serves the goal of reducing risk of water accumulating again, but it also just allows for flexibility going forward. For flexibility going forward. For future use, future planning. And we know that there's definitely some interest in reconsidering the lake going forward, perhaps a different size or what have you. So just wanted to make sure that was that we fully responded to that question there, Mr. Figures. Any other questions, Mr. Figures, or other board members with regard to this?
I have a. Okay. So I see that we haven't gotten the remediation plan as of yet. When we get that, I guess we'll have a whole lot more information.
Yes, ma'am.
How is that information going to be communicated to the community in terms of how the remediation is going to take place? Is there a plan around that? The other question that I had was safety of community members and liability for the district as this process takes place over the next year. Have we considered that and are made any estimates of whether we need to increase insurance or need to put up more signage or reinforce fences or those kinds of things?
The license agreement, Ms. Johnson, actually contemplates that Entergy will maintain that proper fencing, the maintenance of the property. It's almost as if they were just still leasing the property. They will maintain all of that, the proper insurance. So all of that is included in this license agreement. And so it basically is and that's why I keep want to call it a lease agreement versus a license agreement, but it's basically they are still on the property with the same requirements to keep it safe, to maintain fencing, everything while this remediation process is going on. There has been some conversation, I know lately, between our attorneys and their attorneys about how they are safely, slowly releasing that water into Eubanks Creek. So there's a lot of scrutiny on how this process is making sure that it's not negatively affecting the community, but Entergy is maintaining the liability for that while they are on the property through this lease agreement. As far as a plan around remediation, I think that that's something that we would need to talk about once we get that approved plan, whose responsibility that would be. I think we would certainly want to engage our public to let them know what is going on at the property. I'm not sure if Entergy has plans to publicly release the remediation plan, but certainly it will be a public plan that we can certainly talk about how we would like our community to know exactly what's going on. I think probably through these updates, these quarterly updates that we will bring to this board is one way of getting the process out, but we may want to talk about a more formalized plan to get the public informed.
Thank you. Board members, are there any other questions? All right, if there are no questions, is there a motion to approve action item B?
So moved.
Dr. Luckett has moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
There being no nays, the motion's, I'm sorry. Dr. Harrison, was that an aye or a nay?
Yeah, it was an aye. It took me a minute to get my mute button. Thank
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, there being no nays, the motion is approved. Thank you, Ms. Miller. And then we have the next item, which is Ms. Miller again.
Yes, ma'am. Board members, again, thank you, Ms. Johnson. I am excited. We are excited to announce the district's participation and receipt of school recognition funds. Again, for the third year. If you will recall, the legislature 3 years ago established the school recognition program to recognize those individual schools and through their teachers for schools who had improved their accountability rating. This year, we have 27 schools that were recognized for making gains in their accountability rating from the 17-18 to the 18-19 year. And what we're really excited about this year is that we this year have 7 of our middle schools that will share in this award. As I mentioned, we have 27 schools that will share $898,758. And these are dollars that will be allocated to any licensed employee who was at the school in 2018-19 and is still employed in the district in any capacity. In the past, administrators have been excluded. They're still technically excluded, but we have a couple of instances where we had a couple of teachers who in 18-19 were teaching in the school and are now administrators, and they will actually share in some of these funds. This year, we also expanded our reach to include teachers at the Capital City Alternative School, the Henley Young Detention Center, the Career Development Center, the JPS Tougaloo Early College Program, REAP, and those teachers who support our homebound students. So we're really excited about this. These are funds that will be, as I said, allocated directly to teachers. They don't have to be used on students. They don't have to be used on the school, and they will be distributed on November 30th of this year. It's going to be separate checks. So it'll be an extra Christmas happy for a lot of our educators in the district. So I'm bringing these forward to you for approval through the school recognition program.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. This is good news. Board members, are there any questions or comments?
Great news.
If no other questions or comments, board members, is there a motion to approve action item C?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Harrison has moved, Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, board members.
Next, board members, we have the consent agenda items finance. All of the consent agenda items finance have been reviewed by the board previously. We've had an opportunity to ask questions of the administration. Are there any other questions, board members? Okay, if no other questions, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items finance?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Sivak has moved, Dr. Luckett has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Next, we have the consent agenda items general. Again, all of these items have been reviewed by the board previously. We've had an opportunity to ask questions of the administration. Are there any further questions, board members? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda general?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Harrison has moved, Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Next, board members, we have the consent agenda items personnel. Again, we've had an opportunity to review these items previously. Are there any further questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Hilliard has moved, Dr. Sivak has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any nays? There being none, the motion is approved. Is there a consideration to hold an executive session? There is no consideration to hold an executive session, board members, and well, that's early.
Might be a
Great.
record.
That's
Wait,
record
wait,
time.
the superintendent has something additional, so hold on.
And allow us to just run out. I do want to acknowledge that we started, and some may have seen some buzz about this, but we've started to receive some of the Scholar devices. So we got a shipment, or some of the devices have arrived, and others will continue to arrive over the next couple of weeks, as we were told back in the summer when we set the orders or made the orders. So we're excited about that. Of course, we want to begin to get our young people who are not connected, those young people who are learning asynchronously, want to start to get them connected and learning alongside their peers in the virtual space. So just something around that, and we know that the team will be working really, really hard to get those processed and inventoried and out to schools and then out to families. But your continued patience, board members, team members, community members, but the devices are starting to come in, and we'll be working furiously to get them out and in the hands of our scholars. And that's all that I have.
That is some more great news. The fact that we're moving to one-to-one district is absolutely amazing. Board members, there are no other comments. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Luckett has moved, Ms. Hilliard has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? There being none, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Aye.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night.